What's up, everyone? Criddle here, and I want to talk about the two patches from this week. I was going to make a video on the patch on Wednesday, but then after going over the patch and then playing the game, there were a lot of issues with that patch. So I decided to skip that one, and hopefully they would fix a lot of those issues for another patch later in the week, and they did. That was yesterday's patch. They fixed a lot of them, and then they added some new things in as well. So now I figured after I was able to play a little bit of that, let's talk about all of those. The most recent patch on Friday changed the con system completely, and that's the biggest thing that I really want to talk about. But I do want to go over both patches really quickly before we talk about the con system. So the first thing is, they did change this looting chest down to 4 minutes. This was broken on this particular patch, but then they fixed it supposedly on the Friday patch. I have not tested it since then, but hopefully it is now working properly. The cast bar and compasses are now movable. They adjusted the unarmed attack so that the delay isn't ridiculously low, and monks specifically, but also warriors were gaining way too much readiness when they were dual wielding with only one weapon, and then they were using their unarmed attack for their other weapon. The AI logic, this is another really big change for this patch, but it also broke a lot of things. What it was doing was causing, if you get stunned by an enemy, you would then target yourself. In some cases, when a caster like a summoner or a necromancer was getting stunned, their pets would then become aggro to them and attack them. The rush ability and the charge ability and the frenzied rush ability, all of these things were somehow broken in this patch and causing some crazy mechanics to happen. So those things were part of the reason I didn't want to really say anything, but they are now, for the most part, fixed from what I can tell. Some other things that I want to point out here, the Wild Bloods down here have some crazy new abilities. These abilities were in some ways very overpowered, and they have since changed those, reverted some of the changes, and tweaked those a little bit. So these are a little bit better now. Coming down here, we have the Enchanter. They added in some stuff. They basically lowered the Enchanter resistances that it lowers, and then added in 2 new buffs. The problem was the Commanding Will buff was not in the game on Wednesday. It is now in the game as of yesterday. And then the Dominating Will at level 24. So you can get, upgrades to your abilities. This is a great thing that we're starting to see upgrades to abilities. The Necromancer did get a nerf to their damage drain lines, or their life leech specifically. It was nerfed a little bit too much, and again, kind of readjusted again on Friday. It's still a nerf, so don't expect it to be back where it was previous to the patch on Wednesday, but it is better than it was on Wednesday. There was some crazy crossover between levels and things that was then adjusted. Shamans were getting a lot of love over here on Wednesday. They got a lot more love on Friday. They're basically getting to the point where they have most of their abilities, and they're getting more fleshed out up to level 40. So shamans are in a really good place right now. Their pets were a bit overpowered. Some lower level pets like 25, I think the level 25 pet was hitting for way too much damage, and quadding in 1 second, getting 4 different attacks and doing significant amount of damage at that level, and even able to hit things like up to level 38 scorpions as a level 20 something mid to high 20s level shaman. So it was a little bit out of control. That got fixed also on Friday. Let's see, what else do I want to really point out here? Some questing updates and such. This Icy Blast spell was not put into the game as they said that it was. Well, it wasn't on the vendors. I think it was supposed to be like a spell drop or something. But anyway, it wasn't on vendors. That is supposed to also have been fixed on Friday, that was now put onto the vendors. So coming down here to the Friday patch, this is the big one that really changed everything. This is a very, very good patch from what I can tell so far. I did play a good bit last night to test over a lot of this stuff, and it feels really good. That's mostly going to be this right here. Increase the range of levels that XP is rewarded for. So this is basically the con change that has been talked about for the past couple of weeks, where now mobs are staying in that dark blue, light blue, green range much, much longer. I think, I'm not 100% sure on the formula just yet, but around, I'm a level 40 character, and I'm still getting green mobs around level 22 or so. So you can see that that range is extended out much farther. It used to be that mobs would become gray about 5 levels below you, 6 levels below you, something around there. Now it goes down, much, much farther. I'm able to kill dark blues for XP that are 10 levels lower than me, or close to 10 levels lower than me. So very, very good change there. Also decreases severity of group XP penalty from fighting with higher level members to match. This right here is worded very oddly, but basically this is more or less a nerf to people that are lower level grouping with higher levels. So I tested this with my 2 characters. I have a level 40 and then I have a level 28 that I group together. You can get XP as long as you are level 26 or higher with a level 40. But the experience that I was getting on my level 40 percentage wise was higher than the experience that I was getting on my level 28 percentage wise. So that seems a little bit off. I want to do some further testing on that, but it doesn't seem that great. I also grouped last night in a group with several level 40s, a level 38, something, a range of 37 to 38. And then we had one person that was level 28. And I don't think that they were getting, from what the discussion was, I don't think they were getting nearly as much XP. They were not catching up and gaining more XP than the higher levels were. They were kind of getting the same amount of percentage of XP of their level, which seems a little bit off. I feel like the lower levels should be able to get more of a percentage. We were killing things that were higher level than that level 28, but lower level than the level 40s. We were killing the Osharuk camp effectively. That's what I ended up camping last night. So talking about the Osharuk camp, I'm level 40. Several of my group members are level 40. The Osharuk camp is around level 32, the mobs that are there. And we were getting pretty good XP there. I would say about 10% per hour is what we were getting there. And we also wanted to test out the stunning of those mobs there, because those mobs do have the frenzied rush and they just dash around a lot. They do stun a lot. That's why we chose that camp last night. And the frenzied rush things, it's still crazy, right? You still have frenzied rush going all around all over the place. You have the frenzied rush followed by the flurry, which is very devastating, or the bash that stuns you, and then a flurry. Those things are still in place. And it makes it very tough, but it did seem like, the rushing was fixed a little bit. You weren't targeting yourself. The pet classes that are in my group weren't having to dismiss, or not dismiss, but call their pets off and then put them back on guard. They weren't having to do all of those kinds of things, which is great. So that where they said right here, the bug where the pets were not assisting and following, etc., those were all fixed. So again, great patch. Down here are more of the shaman upgrades. So I would recommend you read through all of these. These are all the shaman upgrades that they made, and they are great. More dot changes, more pet changes, more buff changes. I mean, there's just so much information coming in with the shaman. This is a fantastic change. So those are all of the things there. Now, going back to the con system, be very, very careful. I know a lot of people are out there that don't necessarily read the patch notes. They just go back into the game and you're just going to assume that nothing really changed. Be very careful, because mobs are going to be aggroing you from a lot farther away right now. I know people were going into Hownir Cave last night that were level 40, going down to the Ghost to farm the Ghost for some gold, and some of those Ghosts are now green to them, and it was causing some confusion. It was causing mobs to just kind of go all over the place. So just be aware that that is happening, where you're going to have a lot more aggro now from lower level mobs. Now, with all of that change, the last thing that I kind of want to go over with that is, now when you're fighting lower level mobs, things that are light blue, green, or gray, or dark gray, it's a new thing that they added, those mobs are going to have a penalty against you. So they're going to be hitting you less for less damage. They're going to be missing a lot more. You're going to be able to hit them more. Things like that are happening. So killing those mobs is much, much easier. Dark blue mobs do not have a penalty and are really the sweet spot. That's what Visionary Realms is looking for. Dark blue and even con mobs are the sweet spot for your XP at this point. Yellow mobs and orange mobs are supposed to be a little bit more difficult. I would still say that yellow mobs are probably still very good XP if you can take them down efficiently. But if you can't, those blue mobs are actually very, very good at this time. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the quick update about the patch that we had, or the 2 patches that we had. Hopefully this information finds you quickly, and if you want to look at this stuff yourself, there are 3 different locations, something that I wanted to call out previously, and I have not been able to do so. But you can find all of these patch notes on 3 different locations. So the first location is here in Discord. The second location is if you go here to the Pantheon site, you can see the updates here. Usually, I don't think they have the most recent update from yesterday. Yep, wait, right here. Yes, they do. So they do have those updates. And then you can finally go to Pantheon MMO. So pantheonmmo.com. Go over here to news and go down here to patch notes. And you can see the most recent patch notes here. So they are posting them in all 3 places. They've been getting those up since the last 2 patches very quickly, which is awesome. So everybody has a place that they can go if you don't want to go over to Discord or whatever, depending on what kind of platform you like to look at. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I see you in the next one. Bye.